I will not be competing at the Mr. Olympia. We wanted to talk about what's been going on, what's transpired, and then what things look like moving forward, because that's kind of the question mark of everything, even with me right now. So, starting from the beginning here with a little bit more detail, probably 9 weeks ago, I started to notice that things weren't just feeling right with the prep. So, if you know me and you've watched these prep series in the past and stuff, that like I go into preps with extreme high energy. I'm actually excited for prep. Some people say they dread prep because of the things that come with it, lower food, constant training, cardio, whatever. I actually love it because, it takes me away from that off-season phase where I have to hold that very high body weight, very uncomfortable, everything's sluggish. You have to eat a lot of food. So prep always gives me the opportunity to take a break, bring down, get lean, feel better, joints feel better, health feels better, everything just feels better for me. So what I noticed was with the start prep, I wasn't feeling any better. I was actually even like more lethargic, almost just to be honest, in a depressive state. And that was right at the beginning. And that's something that's obviously wasn't going to stop me. That's not why I pulled out from the show. It's you can handle those things mentally. And in preps, you face a lot of adversity, especially mentally, and I always have. And that's something that I'm very, very strong-minded, and I've always been able to overcome those things if anything that's been has arisen. And so I wasn't really worried about it. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to go get blood work done to see if there was a reason why I wasn't feeling the way I thought I should, or that I always have felt in the past with preps, and just knowing that my body was off somehow. So that was the start of it. Once I got blood work done at Relive Clinic here, that they took absolute great care of me. I've done a lot of blood work now through them. They've got me set up on with connections and everything. So just want to say shout out to them. But when got the blood work, got it back. And the things that really stuck out to me, and they kind of gave me answers at that point. So like I said, this was probably 7 weeks ago now, is that, my estrogen reading was extremely, extremely high. So it was like 142 or something, which is a very high reading, especially when you're on prep and your estrogen actually should be going down as you lean out. You drop water, you drop in body fat. Mine was actually like very, very high. But also on the blood work, one thing that, that everybody looking over it, talked to me about was that my adrenals. So like the readings, the blood work basis on my adrenals was absolutely fried. So those were very high. And they were saying that my adrenals are very, very fried. What adrenals are is that's going to be kind of your reaction, your feelings, your reaction to things. And then that kind of made a lot of sense, because that kind of made sense why I was just kind of in this blah mood. Like I said, just going through the motions, like not feeling myself. The high estrogen, then my adrenals being fried. And that's just from, honestly, spending the last 8 years going balls to the wall, right? Not missing any training sessions, not missing any meals, not really taking enough time off of like a break on the body and on the mind as well of a meal plan or something. I've never kind of just not eating off plan for extended period of time. I've always, it's strict 5-6 meals a day, whatever that may be. Maybe I might not be, maybe I might squeeze in more cheat meals after a show or something, but I'm still always, eating that same amount, 4,000 plus calories no matter when. And so what that does is that just added up over time, and I think my adrenals got fried, and that was just something new that I had never experienced. But with that, like I said, I was like, we can take care of this. Let's, switch out our anti-estrogens. So, that's like Nolvadex, when you're talking about the Remedex. And so I changed those things out to bring down my estrogen, so I didn't have high estrogen in the body. And I was like, okay, we'll be good moving forward. I actually, started talking with Matt Berzicott and Austin Stallet, who he works with, about some adrenal stuff, which I'll cover here at the end because I want to talk about how that has progressed. And so I started kind of those things, but not yet. So that probably was another couple weeks because I should have started earlier, but I didn't get all the stuff in. So now let's progress into what the real issues were. So got those things changed. I was like, okay, I think I'll start feeling better here ahead mentally. Regardless, I'm still getting it all done in the gym. Still going to them, getting the training sessions done, getting the cardio done. Even if it wasn't feeling right or feeling like I wanted to, still was, I was progressing. We were still on track. If you see pictures, you saw, I was still on track all the way up until we decided not to. So it wasn't physically that I wasn't on track was the issue. It was everything else behind the scenes, which we'll talk a little bit more now. So that progressed. Like I said, that's probably 7 weeks ago when we got blood work back. Probably a week later is when I started to experience the real issues at hand. And that was just like my body rejecting, pretty much just rejecting my meat, food. You know, so it's something I still haven't got complete answers to. But what was happening was, you know, every day, and this is when, so Ivana was gone. She was gone for about a month. She went back to our home, and spent like a month with our family, took the baby back, you know, had a really good time. And I'm glad they did, you know, she got to go experience more fall down there and the see the rest of the family that they haven't seen yet. And so I was here, you know, by myself for about a month. And so what I was going through during that time was every day I was throwing up. So I'd eat a meal and probably 30 minutes later I would throw it up. And it was completely random. So it wasn't like I couldn't distinguish if it was just like a food source or something from like meal 1, say, or something. So sometimes it was at the first meal of the day, sometimes it was last, sometimes it was 2, 3, sometimes it was 4 or 5. And so it was just very, very random. And if you know what we do, we as bodybuilders, is we can't sacrifice, you know, nutrients. We can't sacrifice those carbs, those proteins, those fats. Especially me, you know, especially at that point, I'm still eating 4,000 calories a day, or I need to be able to hold on to the muscle tissue, because I am someone that has to eat still a lot on prep, relatively speaking to others, just to be able to hold the muscle mass on my frame, just because my body wants to fight me and bring me down always. So that's just where, you know, something I have to deal with as a bodybuilder. I have to eat a lot of food to maintain the muscle, even on a prep. And so when I was prepping and I was throwing up those meals, then I had to replace those, right? So I ended up eating, you know, throwing those on at the end of the day, or just eating a little bit later. And, you know, so it's turning into, I was eating, instead of eating 6 meals a day, I was eating, you know, up to 8 to 9 meals a day, you know, throwing up 2 and trying to replace them. So it was just a vicious cycle. And I was starting, like I said, every day there for about, 3-4 weeks, and just, you know, continue to go on. And it was something I was kind of hiding. I wasn't really, you know, talking about it too much, especially for the first 2 weeks, because I was like, hey, it's a phase I got to get through. This is part of, you know, there's a big difference between, there's not a big difference. There's a close difference between like prep feels and prep things, and then things that are actually really, really wrong. And that's what we do as bodybuilders, is we kind of toe that line. And we're like, okay, is this actually just a prep thing, you know, that I'll be fine tomorrow, or is this something really serious? So that's the hard thing. And so I continue to kind of stay on the side of, hey, this is the Mr. Olympia. You know, I can't not do this show, right? I've been spending the last 8 years in my head getting ready for this. You know, that was the goal from when I started bodybuilding training, was I want to, you know, be an open bodybuilder on the Mr. Olympia stage. So spending the last 9 years getting ready for this, I wasn't going to let, you know, a couple, you know, pukes a day to, you know, throw me off. I know that sounds crazy, but that's where my mindset was. So I just continued that. That progressed into, I was starting to get more nauseous feels, because at first it was just, I would just throw it up. I was like, that's weird. But then I was starting to get nauseous throughout the day. I'd be training and I would just feel nauseous. Even at Zach, I'd always be like, man, I think I'm going to throw up, like towards the end of the workout. But it wasn't so much from exertion. You know, it might have been from like, it would have been an arm day or something that was a little less exertion, and I still just didn't feel right at the end. So it turned into a little bit of dizziness too. So it was nauseous, dizziness. I started having diarrhea after that. So it was one of those things that it started here in the mental side of things. You know, I thought I got them addressed, and it turned into the physical things with the digestive tract, and then it just kept going down, down, down. And then more things were arising. So like I said, that progressed for probably 3-4 weeks. And then I had a really bad breaking point. I don't even want to spare details. It involves diarrhea and throwing up at the same time. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, uncontrollably, you know, in the vehicle even too. So it's like, it was just like some, you know, different scary scenes that my body was just like, it was fighting me, and then it was just doing its own thing like that. So I couldn't control some bowel movements. You know, I couldn't keep my food down. And on top of that, what that did is that brought, you know, I thought the mental things were getting better because of protocols or whatever, like I'll talk about, but really it just made it even worse, because then I was just getting in my own head with stress and anxiety of, oh, now I have to eat 2 more meals, you know, stay up until 1 a.m, getting my food in, you know, training sessions weren't there. I was, you know, I just felt weaker each training session. But at a point that I shouldn't be. Like I said, at 8 weeks out, I should actually probably be my strongest. I was actually getting weaker and weaker each day with the training. So I knew my body wasn't responding the way it should be with the prep. I mean, I was looking good. I mean, that's the crazy part, is I was looking probably 90% of what I probably, you know, should have been. So I was still getting these things done, but it wasn't there on how you should be feeling. So like I said, it came to a breaking point with that a little bit ago I was talking about, and then that's when I knew I had to address it with Ivana, because she was back at that time, address it with Matt. And, I started telling him what was going on. And, it was to a point where I didn't want to, mentally continue it with just doing that process. So then that was, and like I said, I was in a really deep hole with the mental side of things. Like I said, every day was just, I was dreading eating. I would look at meals and knew I was going to puke them up. So think about that every day. You're waking up, you're dreading eating, you're dreading what's going to come after that. And then it affects, it affects your household, how you are around your wife, your kids, or our kid. And I didn't want that to continue to be a downward slope of, anger, stress, anxiety, whatever. But the main thing was I needed to figure out the GI issues first. So I was like, Matt, hey, look, we're gonna stop what we're doing with all the prep protocols. We're gonna take everything out. I just need to clean out the body. I'm not gonna train for a bit because my body was fighting me. And then let's figure out what's going on. So that's when we started extensive blood work. This was, now we're almost 2.5 weeks. Extensive blood work was getting done. We started talking to some gut specialists. I actually got a GI map and I just filled it in case you're wondering. I did it this morning. So this is going to the clinical today. I had to do my first GI map this morning, which involved me picking through my poop and putting it into a tube. So that was an experience. So this goes out. Hopefully, this will also tell me about leaky gut syndrome and things like that. I'm sending that back in and they're going to review all those things. So that's kind of the first big thing I'm doing. And then, from making my posts on Instagram, I want to thank a lot of you. If you watch both, a lot of people reached out and gave me, what they thought their diagnosis was, or they heard, they've experienced or seen people experience things similar. One big thing is like multiple people told me that I need to take some antibiotics for the gut and just kind of wipe everything out, which might be next too. But the main thing is I want to get this going, get some answers ahead, and so we can correct ourselves. So that kind of gives you a rundown of, what's transpired. I just, now talking about after the announcement on Monday, so at that point I hadn't been in the gym for 15 days. I just went to the gym yesterday for the first time in the last 18 days. Urs, you guys know him as Miracle Bear on social media, but he's down here for the next 4 weeks and he wanted me to push him a little bit. So I just went in there and kind of moved a little blood, but more so just helped him out. And I'm going to keep that up for ahead. I'm not going to push training right now. I need a full kind of reset. Like I said, it's been 9 years and I've been going balls to the wall that I haven't let the body actually reset like it properly did. And so right now is actually a good opportunity, a good time to do it. So, I'm doing kind of a full, PCT protocol, if you know what that is, with HCG, Clomid, Nolvadex, just kind of clearing everything out of the system, letting the body rest and reset here ahead. But mainly, I just want to have everything clean so I can figure out what's going on with the gut issues, because I'm still not able to eat as like I need to. I'm eating like 4 meals a day, and that's just when I feel like it, and then it's smaller portions as well. So the issue with that is I've now dropped probably, I'm down to 245 pounds, which, like I said, I wanted to be about 250 on stage for the Olympia, so I'm already, like I said, 5 pounds less than the lowest weight I wanted to get on this prep. But they'll probably continue here for a little bit, but then hopefully stabilize and start getting better. So where am I at right now? The good news is, I will say is some good news. It's been 6 to 7 days. I think it was Wednesday last week. 6 to 7 days, 6 days since I've actually puked. So the puking has kind of gone away. I'm obviously not for a while there. I was still trying to eat like a full meal plan day, and that wasn't helping. So when I really fully backed off last week, when I knew I wasn't going to do the Olympia, that's helped. So now food's lower. I'm not puking. I'm actually probably absorbing it more, and it's settling better. Dizziness has gotten better. Like I said, it's not as frequently, maybe 1 or 2 spells a day. Nausea is definitely better. That's what came down the last few days. I think just announcing on Monday helped drop the cortisol big time, probably. And I mean, you can imagine, and knowing that, I'm living with this decision moving forward. So that's definitely helped settle me down a little bit on the mental side of things. And so that's where we're at. So moving forward, like I told you, I'm just going to be taking a little break here the next few months. My plan is to get everything figured out, get a good bill of health on everything, again, probably a few times, and then start at 2024 right at January. I would like to, come back with vengeance. I mean, I've already, what's crazy is, I'm just trying to stay busy, because what I was doing there, I was just sitting at the house for the last 2-3 weeks, just depressed. I mean, the good thing is I have Millie, so I was hanging out with Millie all day. That kept me sane. That kept me good. But also I just kept staying busy. You know, I'm doing some classes on coaching to be a better coach to other bodybuilders. I'm doing what I did is already built up, you know, pretty much my training program for 2024, what each week's going to look like moving forwards, because that's how excited I am to come back with vengeance and make this next year, the best 2024 that it possibly can be, because now I'm more driven than ever that, you know, I accomplished my goal, get to the Olympia, but then it fell short of actually making it. And so now it's still on that table, and I still need to be there, and I want to produce and not only be there, but show you guys an extremely, extremely good Brett Wilkin, you know, and bring something to that stage. Very, very good. So that's where we're at. This will be a weird couple of months, but we'll still do some videos. Like I said, I'll be training a little bit with Urs and stuff, so it might be good to, you know, get Zach in there. And I'm actually kind of, you know, pushing him and selecting the exercise because I've been at that gym more and stuff. So we can kind of do some more of the training videos of how I want him to, you know, get ready for the show or get ready for the Olympia and what it looks like going into it, and just, you know, bring some good content to you guys as well. So I will continue this. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere on the YouTube kind of things. I just wanted to get this message out to those people that didn't see it this week on social media regarding not being able to compete and wonder where the next videos will be. So wanted to touch base on this real quick because this really has helped me, and so I'm going to try to make this as an informal video as well. So if you've experienced these things, like I said, with that mental fog, that, you know, you think your adrenals are off or something's just off, especially with the mental mindset, this has helped me so much these last few weeks. Like, I literally started feeling alive again. Like I said, I started feeling alive again. I started waking up with energy, wanting to go. I've actually been doing cardio every morning and wanting to, you know, get out there and get on the cardio bike and just do something. You know, I've been wanting to go do activities outside, you know, on the weekends. It's something in the past maybe I didn't want to do. I just wanted this, you know, if I wasn't training or eating, I just wanted to lay low and rest, you know. Now it's more, hey, like I'm ready to go. I feel cognitively sharper. There's no cloud there. And this is from, like I said, this is from Matt Burscott and Austin Stout. They sent me this protocol of health supplements here, and it's worked really, really well. So if you have somebody, you know, maybe clients you work with, or if you've heard this or yourself, I would definitely advise trying this because it's honestly turned me around. I feel a lot mentally sharper, and just a willingness to live, right? You know, out of that dark hole. So get into it real quick. These are just, so in the morning, I'll take one of these KSM 66 ashwagandha. So it's just a mix between ashwagandha and this the KSM extract. So I'll do one of these. I'll actually do one just ashwagandha from Revive. So those are the ashwagandha setup. I do one theanine, whatever. So that's another little mental boost. That I do 2 dopa mucuna, if you say that, mucuna. I don't know how to pronounce that, but 2 of those in the morning. And then so those in the morning, and then I will also throw, because we wanted to look at liver toxicity, because people, you know, my ALT, AST on blood work was not relatively, slightly elevated, but as it should be on prep, or not as it should be, but most of the time it is on prep. I think I was at like in the 80s and 90s on ALT, AST, which isn't dramatically bad. So it doesn't mean I had any liver issues. I just want to bring that down right now because liver toxicity can cause puking, can cause those feelings. So we wanted to address that too. So I'm doing 2 just straight TUDCA, and then 4 liver in the morning and 4 in the evening. And so this is just a combination of NAC, milk thistle, TUDCA. So I get all my NAC I need from there, and then just a standalone TUDCA product too. So this is morning and evening. This is just morning. And then again in the evening, I'll do these 3 again in the evening, same amount. And then I'll also add in another brain booster here, this 5-HTP. So 1 round in the morning, or so 1 round of this in the evening, and then 1 round of this in the morning. And then you're good to go. So we'll like I said, that was something that those 2 shared with me. And it has worked extremely well. And like I said, cognitively, mentally, I feel a lot better, especially over this past 4 days. And I want to just continue this to go. So I'll keep you guys updated on how this continues. I'm definitely keep it in. I also started BPC 157, the oral version. So that, you know, you've heard of BP 157 for injecting into muscles that, you know, injuries, maybe, you know, joints that hurt, muscles that hurt, the peptide that helps with that. But also, if you do the oral version, the pill version, it helps with extremely helps with gut health. And so I started that, as well as a lot of other Revive products. I just keep, continue to do GI plus, gut health. We're looking at betaine HCl, glucose digestate with meals, and so just staying on top of that. So I will, I'm writing all this down. I'll share this in the future of the protocols we kind of go through to get everything mapped out and corrected. But that's where we're at right now, correcting everything, analyzing everything, getting blood work done. Next step is the GI map results, going over that, doing what I need to, what we find in the results. And if I need to go to a primary doctor after that, that'll be the next step in the next couple weeks. Then we might have to look into if it's a bacterial infection, which I talked about with the antibiotics, or parasites. Oh, there could be a parasite that's causing issues. I don't know. I'm still looking for answers. So, but like I said, we will be back next year, and we're bringing you with us. So, again, this is an extremely frustrating process, and I wish I never had to make this video, because most of my videos, you guys have seen, are very positive, uplifting. That's where I like to stay. But I have to be transparent with you guys, because I know a lot of you follow me, and I appreciate it. And all the love I saw from my post on Monday, it was incredible. Like, I had people calling me, I talked to Phil Heath for an hour, just on his experiences, and that was a huge one for me, because the mental part of the stuff he really dove into. I talked to Flex Lewis, who experienced some of the similar things in his past that kind of ended his career because he couldn't push into the open because he couldn't eat. And he was experiencing that, throwing up, that anxiety, and just that vicious circle. So just kind of, seeing the feedback from you guys, knowing, makes me feel better about not pushing it to a place that it shouldn't be. And then also just waking up and seeing a little family every morning. So I'm going to end it on a good note. I'm going to grab Millie real quick. I want to show you guys how big this little girl is getting. She's out on the porch right now. 1 second. She was out eating. She was out eating because that's all she does anymore. But this is my chunker that is getting big. So say hi to YouTube, Millie. You be me, a wonderful group. She just ate a whole banana, and she likes avocado. She eats them in whole. So we are building up these legs. And so I'm going to be her trainer for these next few months. And we're going to go from there. So again, thank you guys. I really appreciate, like I said, all the support, especially all the feedback this week, all the love shown. I will be out at the Olympia, so we'll be out there in 4 weeks. I'll be there Wednesday through Sunday, and I'll be around. So I'll be around both shows, prejudging finals, as well as doing stuff for GASP and Better Bodies. I'll be at Gearrod Nutrition's booth for a little bit, probably on Friday, and so just having a good time out there. So make sure you come over and say what's up. Hopefully I'll have more answers then, and maybe, hopefully I'll be training as well then too. So we will just go day by day now, and I will keep you guys as updated as I can. And I hope you learn from this, learn from what I have to say about this, and stay safe out there and stay healthy. We'll see you guys soon. Ah! Are these your supplements?
Yeah, she was cracking on.